Yeah, balls and penis.
Yeah, balls and penis. What's up, everybody? Hey, happy
Yeah,
Friday! Woo, 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 woo!
Happy Friday!
Ooh! Hope you're all doing well.
Yeah, hope you're all fucking feeling well.
Hope you're all fucking is what I thought you were gonna say.
I hope you're all fucking tonight.
As it's
Hope
Friday.
you're listening to this. I hope you're listening to this while you're fucking jump humping and soaking.
Oh yeah, I actually saw the thumbnail for that as I was going through some of our content. I'm like, oh, I remember that Ask Practical Doug.
Yep. We had an entire. I went back right after we moved up here. I went back to Chicago for about a month after, and we got together with a bunch of people from work. And I don't know how, but we went out for some drinks, and the first hour of drinks was spent talking about jump humping and soaking, and it was a lively conversation with work people who I did not think would know what we were talking about, but had more information on it than both you and I combined, Doug.
That's always the best when that happens.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, you people are fun.
That's always fun. Hey, guess who we have with us? It's Jarryd. Say hi, Jarryd.
What?
Yeah, my balls hurt.
Fuck me, slutty.
Hi.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that
That's
soundbite,
cool.
Jarryd.
Yeah.
Live. He did that right now.
He did it right now. It was crazy.
Yeah.
God, I looked at all my photos. You picked the douchiest one that I sent.
That was the easiest one for me to Photoshop.
Whose fault is that?
All the other ones were like you laying in a pool of water, which was just such a small picture of you. And then it was like you with a face mask on, which I'm like, people aren't going to know who that is.
Yeah, but you could have had my feet. That's what people want.
Could have had your feet?
Yeah, you could have just done my feet.
I mean, we
That's what
could
I
have.
want, though.
He's not
Sorry,
wrong.
I'm sorry. I stopped managing your OnlyFans a while ago. My apologies.
Doug, if you've been on our Discord, it's full of foot fetishes.
That is not true,
It's-
sir.
it's-
Not yet, anyway.
No.
Could be. Join our Discord. Link down in the description below. Start a foot channel if you'd like, if that's your thing.
Join our Discord for feet.
Do you like feet? Do you like hobbit feet?
That's what it's there for.
Yeah, right. That's what it's there for. We're an inclusive community. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Hey, you like feet? Come on down to Mind Gap Discord. We've got feet. All the feet you can take.
All the feet you can eat.
All the feet
Yeah,
you can eat.
By the foot.
You find feet neat? We got feet by the foot. Come on down. Mind Gap Discord. Feet.
Speaking of, Natalie just had fruit by the foot for the first time.
Ooh,
Man.
what'd she think of the sugar rope?
She was pretty excited about it.
Is
Pretty
that where
pumped.
you eat off someone's toes?
No, actually, it's a very chewy, candy-ish sort of treat that is a foot long, or I don't know, kilometer. I don't know what the conversion is, but it's like a whole sweet treat that was marketed to us as like, hey, check out this fun thing that you should have for a snack, like anytime you want, and it's just full of sugar, like everything else in America.
It's pressed sugar, Jarryd. It's a foot long of pressed sugar.
Yes.
It has fruit in the title.
I mean, it's fruit flavored.
It's like a salad.
It's like, a grape drink, that has invented flavors.
Yeah, super healthy.
Yeah.
I want some feet by my feet. I mean, fruit by my feet. Fuck. Too early in the morning, guys.
I'm going to chalk that up to the pain meds.
Yeah.
Please do.
Yeah. Maybe.
Maybe.
Hold on here.
I've put my dick in worse.
Right?
There it is.
Right, Jarryd? Right? We've all done that.
I have the best sound bites.
You have some of the best. I mean, it's hard to beat.
We're showing some signs of being fucking wet.
I mean,
That's right.
that one is some great stuff right there.
This is great that we have him on here because we can ask him things and we can have him answer these burning questions. Like, Jarryd, recently you fucked a kangaroo. Is that the worst thing you've ever put your dick in?
I've put my dick in worse.
Okay,
Good to
that's
know.
good. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
you had one message-
to set up there.
What's that?
How did I not expect that you were going to just do that?
Of
I
course.
was like, oh, he's going to ask me a question and expect a soundbite from me now. No. You
No.
already know what the answer was going to be.
Justin,
Oh,
I think you had another question.
I did, yeah. Is there? I mean, if there, I know you have a special relationship with a lot of the rest of the community, but specifically with Slotty, if there's like one thing you could, say to Slotty, what would you want to get off your chest?
Fuck me, slutty.
Okay, look, that's cool. Like,
Yeah, man.
to each their own,
Yeah.
for sure. I'm glad we got there.
We need some new ones.
We do. Hopefully, we'll pull one or two out of this episode.
I should probably close my door. I'll be right back.
I'm so happy you're on, Jarryd.
Professional as always. Yes.
Tint goes, Jarryd may be on the podcast now, but he's put his dick in worse.
That's true. These are facts.
These are facts.
These are facts.
Hi, my name's Worse.
Todd Worse, nice to meet you.
Todd Worse, nice to meet you.
We'll get to the butt in a second.
This might surprise you. I've actually put my dick in, Wes.
Yeah.
He's gonna go fuck that body!
Oh, good stuff. Yeah, I've stopped pulling out a lot of these. I should definitely start pulling out more sound bites these days. I miss it. I miss doing it. It's nice just to have this,
People can't get enough gobby.
That's all it is,
It is. It's true.
They can't.
To be fair, a fair amount of these
Well,
also
history
came from the Dungeon Karens. So
Did they?
Yeah,
I just poop ejaculated my moist missile.
Dungeon Karens.
me too. I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, it's been a while.
Dungeon Karens.
It's been
were
a
the
while. You were
were
so
the best.
good. You were the best around.
What did this one come from?
Pee on me, daddy.
That
That wasn't-
Dungeon Karens.
No.
Yes, it was.
What was the possible context for that one?
Well, you guys were talking about the goblins who were like in their piss dungeon. They're like, pee stuff. And I think I was reading the comment that said "pee on me, daddy." That was what Wayne was really
I was
like
going to say, that sounds like a Wayne comment.
propagating. Yep.
Yep.
It was pretty neat.
Yep. Oh, there was a whole bunch of golden shower jokes
Yes.
and what do they call it? Water sports or water play or isn't there- waterboarding. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Waterboard these fucking skellies.
I love you.
Yeah.
That is
Still,
never been said
that
on
one's
this podcast
unnatural.
before.
I love the soundboard.
That was the sound the doctor did.
That was the sound that what?
The doctor made. He sealed it with a kiss.
All right.
Put
Well,
this little bit of glue and then mwah.
Well, the
And you walk
healthcare
out of
system
the
in
room.
Australia is very different than in America.
way more giving than in America. So,
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
I think we're good. Let's hit the record button here.
Wait, we weren't recording?
Nope, we were just live. Now we're recording, and we're going to start in 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody! Welcome to Mind Gap Podcast. I'm Doug,
I'm Justin.
and we are joined by a very special guest. Not only is this wonderful human being one of the top friends of the podcast, but they are also a regular. Like, if you've seen our streams, if you've seen the Dungeon Karens, and one of the very first spokespeople for the show Bluey, available now on Disney+. Please welcome our wonderful Australian friend, Jarryd Urbas. Welcome back, sir.
Hey. Thanks. I'm glad to be here. I'm sad that this is my 4th time and my 3rd one that's not in person.
But you know what, though? We had one that was in person, and that was pretty
We
fucking
did.
cool.
I'm glad we made it just in time. 2019, we made it
Yes.
to have one.
That
in
was
person.
just under the wire, yeah.
And that, I think, we ended up doing because there was Elephant Castle, and then I think we did it at the alternate place because the original one was booked. So we actually met you at the second one, and we had one down in the meeting room down there, which was really
the
fun.
one on Adams, yeah.
Over on Adams, yes. Jarryd, how are you, man? Good morning to you, I should say.
Good morning. I'm a little sore, and I guess we'll go into that shortly. But
We will. We'll get into why you're sore and why squats are still good for you, So we'll get to that in just a moment. But before we do, let's get through a little bit of housekeeping. That's right. It's everyone's favorite segment called housekeeping. First things first, if you could do us all a huge favor, go ahead and hit the old like button. Hit the like button if you're watching this on YouTube, and if you like what you see here, hit subscribe. It means a lot to us, and it helps a lot. If you're listening to this on the audios, just check us out and hit the review button, and subscribe on there too, and rate and review, and all that good stuff. It means a lot. We appreciate your contribution. If you would like to provide a monetary contribution, you can always support us on patreon.com/mindgappodcast, or check out our merchandise at redbubble.com. Pick yourself up something nice. And if you are a patron, we can give you a really cool shout out, like Tom McIntyre, like Richie Armour, like Zinni, like Slotty Bartfast, and Almighty Crit. Thank you. Thank you for your support. Also, if you want to, chat more with Jarryd, you can always check him out in our Discord, which is the link down in the description below. Come join the Discord. Come join the mad community that we are, the fun that we have, the games that we set up, and the memes that we share. It's great. It's a beautiful time.
And the feet that get posted.
The feet. Oh, the feet by the foot. Oh, you wouldn't believe it. There was a really funny picture someone had posted of it looked like really gross chicken wings that had been fried, and they had the plate on their lap and their leg was crossed, and their foot, it showed their foot, it was just filthy. It had all this sorts of dirt and stuff on it, and someone wrote, "How is it that your foot's seasoned more than those wings?" And it about made me shit my pants.
Was that under recipes? Where might that have been, Doug?
No, I don't think that was. I think I just saw that on Twitter. That was random. I don't think. It was in our
got it. Okay,
Discord.
so I shouldn't worry about going through all of this right now and ignoring the podcast.
In case you wonder, Justin occasionally he makes cameo appearances in the Discord. When he comes in, he's like, "God, look at all these messages." He's like an old man, checking
every
his email.
time.
Oh, there's an update to Discord, bro. Oh, I'll be in a minute. I gotta update it. There's a downloaded.
I don't log in until Doug says, "Hey, you need to log in and do a thing," and then I'll log in and do that thing. But we have a very robust, healthy, active community on Discord that is sharing things like a robust, active, healthy community should be.
Yes.
And I log in maybe once a month. And when
That's
I log
generous.
in, I'm like, why are there so many messages to catch up on? This is nonsense. There's too much. I can't.
Mm-hmm.
It's on me.
Yeah,
It's on me. I get it.
Yeah. It's like you try to load up a game you haven't played in a while. It's like, updates. Ugh. It's like,
Yeah, and that's the other thing. I
I
keep getting logged out of Discord, and I don't remember my password, and now I got to update it. Yeah.
Question is, Drew going to join the D&D campaign Discord? Yes, I've yet to send him the link, but he should be joining momentarily, Slotty. So be prepared. Someone's shooting off fireworks right now in my neighborhood.
That's fun.
Of course, because it is, at the time of recording this, August 26th. Yeah.
It's National Fireworks Day.
Bang. Just whatever. Fucking idiots.
I can't shoot fireworks anymore.
Why?
You,
Is it because you got snipped?
I got snoop.
All right, we'll get to that in a second. So just
We'll get to the butt in a second.
thank you. You beat me to it.
We'll get to the butt in a second.
you get a double dose. You got a double dose.
Butt to butt.
So also real quick, if in case you didn't know, we do live stream the podcast Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Central. This is a special one we're doing right now. It's actually Friday at 8 p.m. Central. And we also host a video game stream on Saturdays at 8 p.m. Central. If you're listening to this, I've probably already had my Minecraft stream, which I'm super excited about because Slotty has created a world. And I don't know much about Minecraft. I've probably logged maybe 5 hours, but I've just been wandering around doing God knows what. And so it's going to be me, Slotty, Zinni, Tint, Gunch, and maybe some other folks. It's going to be a real hoot and a half. So, or it was a hoot and a half. It was great. We built wonderful things. We slayed monsters. It was adorable. You should check us out every Saturday, 8 p.m. Central for the video game live stream. And that has been housekeeping. If you're watching, you'll notice that Jarryd's mouth is not moving, and he is flashing some hot dollars. It's just a still photo. That is because we're just having some technical difficulties. A lot of it is just Jarryd has always been a trooper. Whenever he joins us for anything involving the internet, he has to connect to us from the other side of the world, and inevitably, he has just sort of connection and lag problems, and he's always been a goddamn sport about it, a real trooper. So we were having some video issues, so we just got a beautiful still of his beautiful face for you there, but you can hear him because, we made that part work. So that's why you're just seeing his face and it's not moving.
I blame the squids that are messing with the cables from Australia to the U.S., the underwater cables.
They're playing the bass.
They're playing the bass with them. It's like a Disney short.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. So let's get to the meat and potatoes of this all. Let's get to the spaghetti and the meatballs, if you will. Let's get to the scrotum and the vas deferens. Jarryd, how's your week been?
It's great. I had my first ever surgery, and it was a little one. It was actually less uncomfortable than the dentist.
Oh, really?
Really?
But now I'm paying for it. The surgery's fine. It's the recovery that's a bit painful.
So tell us about what surgery you might have had.
I went and got a vasectomy.
That's a very aggressive gong.
Right? You had the mouth trumpet followed by the gong. Yeah. Congratulations, sir.
Thanks. I've wanted to do this for a while, and obviously it's a lot harder if you're under 30.
Really?
So
why is that?
Do tell.
Well, because they expect everyone to want kids, so they kind of want you over a certain age where you've had time to think about it. So once I turned 30, I wanted to get through, and obviously with COVID, everything's been a bit delayed. So I made it a week after my 31st. So, yeah.
Well, happy birthday to you, sir.
And happy vasectomy.
Thank you. It's been fine. It kind of feels like after the dentist, where the numb wears off and it's a bit sore.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like
in your testicles. What?
Yeah,
I don't. How's the dentist? That's the second time you've compared this to the dentist. I don't understand what Australian dentists do, but I don't feel like I've ever had.
Like after you get your teeth cleaned, you come out and you're just like
your balls are numb.
Your butt just feels like a little bit wider, and you don't know why. You're like, wow, I guess the plaque has really been cleaned off my asshole, but I don't know, it feels weird.
It's so minty fresh down there.
Yeah, right? It feels good and clean, but I don't know why. It's like someone shoved a bunch of things up there.
No gingivitis for me.
I just been feeling
I don't think I understand what gingivitis is, doctor. Oh yeah, we gotta get in deep in your asshole. That's where it starts.
So Jarryd, I'm curious. We'll get into all the different facets of this, but I'm curious if we could just start with what took you to this decision. Why did you want to get a vasectomy? I'm very curious about that.
I've kind of been sure for a very long time that I didn't want kids. I don't hate kids. I have plenty of nieces and nephews, 4 by family, and then a whole bunch that are my friends' kids that call me uncle. There's the ones over in the US that send me pictures and photos. So I've definitely been around kids. I just don't want any of my own. And then the idea of removing the possibility felt like a big relief to me. So last year when I booked it, put myself on the waiting list, like it felt like a big weight was taken off my shoulders, of that chance that I'll accidentally.
That makes sense.
So yeah, and then obviously with what's going on with you guys in the US at the moment, the Roe v. Wade kind of stuff. We're very far from that happening here, but if it did, I'm 50% of making a child, so if I was worried about it accidentally happening and then someone else has to take the shit part of it, I should at least take some responsibility myself. Yeah, like I said, take the bullets out of the gun. It's
Right.
I've got an unloaded weapon now, so I'm not going to harm anyone.
That's a very good way of putting it for an American to understand it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know what the fuck you were talking about until you made the reference to bullets and guns, and now it makes a lot more sense. Thank you.
Yeah. No, but that's interesting, man. And it's what's interesting more so to me is that the doctors, and I'd be curious to know if this is just a policy in Australia or if this is in the US as well, but the fact that they want you, I don't know if they make you wait till you're after 30 or they strongly suggest it, but that's just an interesting policy to have.
Yeah. Some places won't even do it if you don't have kids. So you have to go to a doctor that's kind of understanding about that I'm an adult and I can make that and say, no, I definitely don't want children.
Right.
So yeah, I know I had some friends that had kids and they were told, oh, you might want more, your wife might want more. And yeah, they had to find another doctor to be able to get one.
Wow.
That's really interesting because I saw a Twitter exchange, so take it with a grain of salt, of anecdotal accounts of like a woman going and saying, hey, I want to get a hysterectomy, basically, and the doctor's like giving her, from what they described it, kind of like an interrogation, like, are you sure you realize this is irreversible? Like, if you do this, there's no going back, and just really kind of laying it on thick versus a guy where they were like, taking one for the team, huh? All right. Just a lot more chill about it. Because I guess it is technically reversible with dudes, at least from my understanding. And with women, it's like, if you do this, there's no going back. And so they were kind of talking about how there was like a big difference between, a woman going and asking for that versus a dude. But again, it's purely anecdotal, so take it with a giant grain of salt. I've actually, considered also doing the old snippety dip, but I'm scared. I'm scared about doing it because I know it's relatively, smooth. I think is how they like to describe it.
It's outpatient though, right? Like it's only like an hour or two and you're out of there.
They do shave you down.
That's fine. I shave myself, so it's all good.
That'll be an hour by itself.
No,
for Doug.
I keep it maintained down there. It's all good.
Ooh, lucky Jill.
Yeah, because I'm fucking considerate. Because I don't want someone having to stick their face down into a giant bush and be like, "Yeah." I'm like, no. It's going to be nice and clean, and the hedges are going to be trimmed. The lawn is mowed. I use the right kind of fertilizer and seeding. I make sure it's core aerated every year. Overseeded as necessary. It's watered. It's maintained. It's a delight. Okay, it's a topiary garden down there. And it's I remember when I was, I think, in college, someone was like, but the whole rest of you is hairy. It's weird. I'm like, yeah, but guess what? They're not spending a lot of time on the other hairy parts of my body. So I want it to be a nice, I want people to feel comfortable down in my nether regions, okay?
This might be the first episode we have to put a not safe for work label on.
Really? After all the stuff we talked about? I mean, we did talk about, dentists and gingivitis before this. So, I mean, there is that.
I don't want the dentist coming after us. That's what it is.
Right.
I'm scared of them.
I love Slotty goes, I cannot imagine Doug's ass not being hairy. I know. It's not possible, right? Doug, has now become clear you spent a great deal of time thinking about this. Of course. I want to be a considerate lover. And that
Doug's a
involves
thoughtful guy.
That involves that, like, hey, if I want you to come visit down there, I want it to be a pleasant experience. All right. This is going to be a classy buffet that you find in like Las Vegas in the Bahamas. This ain't a Golden Corral. All right.
Like a Zen garden. When you go down there, he hands you a tiny little rake and says, whatever makes you feel at peace.
Right. Yeah.
Go to town.
Just be at peace. All right.
Yeah.
Find your center. Okay.
He's got an inordinate amount of sand down in his crotch.
Slotty goes, Doug's crotch, a classy joint.
Classy
That's right.
joint. Uncle Doug's Puzzle Basement. Now featuring Doug's crotch, a classy joint.
Doug is really, really hoping for like a Manscaped sponsorship. Manscaped.
Manscaped, hook your brother up. I'd love to do it.
Manscaped. I can do it if that's what you want.
Yes, I'd love that. I'd love to do some Manscaped. Doug runs the razor down once, lifts it, and returns to start position and notices his hair has grown back fully.
Right. Just
like, oh,
pops
man.
right out. So, Jarryd, back to your procedure. Is it so they shave you down, but it's a relatively quick procedure, all things considered, yes or no?
Yeah, it's super quick. So they tell you to take a movie in to watch.
Okay, time out. Now we need to spend time on this. Jarryd, what was your movie?
Edward Scissorhands. And
That's right. You were asking for suggestions from the Discord, and Edward Scissorhands was the one that was suggested. Nice. I'm glad you
Doug,
followed through
That's
with
why
it.
you should be in the Discord.
That's
so
right.
You can get
This is why you all need to be here, so you can help Jarryd and other people with their dilemmas like this. You could have suggested, I don't know, Saving Private Ryan or, Meatballs,
Yeah.
Both classics.
Edward Scissorhands was the best choice, though.
Yeah.
Naturally. Yeah. What would yours have been, Doug?
Battlefield Earth.
Because I just fast forward when he goes into the house and then.
I think it also depends on how long it's going to be, because I want to make sure that the movie's long enough to get through it all. I don't want to stop 90 minutes in. They're like, yeah, we got another 25 minutes. And I'm like, well, fuck, I don't want to start another one,
Right.
I want to time it just right. So, you got to have options.
Yeah, the surgery was only 20 minutes, so I just watched the scene of Edward trimming the bushes, and it was hilarious. It was honestly such a surreal experience.
Only 20 minutes?
So
just
this
watch
is-
an episode of,
And
a couple episodes of
Yeah,
Aqua Teen
and it
Hunger Force,
finishes-
you're good to go.
Yeah. So for me, it would be Parks and Rec then. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So Jarryd, I am
Well, I
curious.
didn't
Though,
want to
like,
laugh
what?
too much.
That's fair. That's totally fair. You don't want a lot of movement or jiggling around when that's being done. So because that's the thing that's always baffled me about this procedure is like, they're like, it's non-invasive. You're in and out. Like you basically just like, lean back, lift your sack, and they're going to go to town. Like what is the procedure? What does it entail?
Yeah.
What was it for
I'm sorry, I just want to talk about the rhythm, what you just said. You're like, lean back, lift your sack, and let's go to town.
You're
We're
welcome.
going to lean back, lift your sack. It's going down. All right, sorry. It was.
All right,
just
we
felt,
need to
it
make
felt
a
right.
song out of this now.
Clip it,
Yeah.
Slutty.
Or snip it.
Yeah.
Hey. Yeah, no, so you lay down on the table, and you don't lift your sack because they lift your dick. Actually, they happy say it took several strips of tape to tape mine down. I don't know what the usual number is, but
Did you ask?
No, I should have.
Yeah.
But that was the really uncomfortable bit, was while the doctor's taping your dick to your stomach.
Can we clip that, please? That's another Jarryd soundbite. Please clip that. Continue, Jarryd.
But yeah, basically, they put a little hole at the top of your sack, just below the base, and then they go in from there. They kind of, I guess, kind of stretch it open a little, but you can't see anything, so I didn't really know what was happening, and they've numbed it. So I did feel at one point them basically squeezing a testicle to
See if you're
I guess
still
hold
alive.
it. Yeah. But you're numb, so you don't feel it. You just, like, you feel that the tension, but not the pain that comes from a ball being squeezed.
I
Gotcha. Okay.
squeezed my balls today to see if I still feel.
At the end of this is going to be like one of those CD adverts that comes on at nighttime.
Right?
It's just Doug's hits, and it's just clips of you singing about my balls.
Right?
Doug's greatest hits of Jarryd's balls.
Jarryd's balls. Doug's interpretation. Oof. All right, so they squeeze your balls.
Yeah, and they just kind of go in and do the things they have to do, and then you're done. They just put a massive Band-Aid over the top, and well, not even massive Band-Aid. It's bigger than
I'm so sorry. The fucking chat. God damn it! I love you guys so much.
Doug and I did our absolute best to power through it.
Oh, sometimes I tell you, like, I wish I could just spend time reading every single comment that comes through on our live stream, and sometimes I'm like, that's good, but I can't interrupt. And then there's the ones where you see it and you're like, and that one was from Tint, and he says, you go numb, they squeeze out the cum. All right, I'm sorry. This is completely chaotic, and I apologize.
No, it's fine. This is the kind of procedure where you talk about it. It's not like I went in for something life-saving and you're making jokes about it.
Yeah.
Life preventing.
This is yeah. Ooh. I'm gonna call it life preventing surgery now. Sounds classier that way.
Right?
It does.
But yeah, the whole thing took about 20 minutes.
It's incredible.
Get down, take your undies off. Take the end. They cut some stuff. They cauterize it. What's the thing?
Oh, they cauterize it so that it closes the hole.
Yeah, they do that, and then they stick the little Band-Aid on, and then you're done. You walk back out and get changed, and honestly, they sat me down for 10 minutes. We're like, all right, are you okay to go home? And I was like, yeah. And then that was it.
Wow.
And they were like, you can drive yourself home, but I had my girlfriend.
And they're like, did you tell her why you were here? We just want to make sure that, I mean, it's too late, but we just want to make sure she knows.
Yeah, no, she knows. She's, very supportive of it.
Yeah.
And obviously, we've been together, I think 11 months now. So I'd already been on the waiting list when we got together. So she knew it was coming. So
that's cool.
But not you.
No.
No, he still can.
You still come. You still.
It's just full of blood now.
Still come. There's just no swimming. Yeah.
So speaking of,
yeah, we both want to get there.
Yeah. So beforehand, did you have to do like, I don't know. I think you said some sort of picture like of some tests. Like, did you have to like masturbate in a cup beforehand, and then did you have to do it afterwards? Or I've heard some stories from folks what the protocol is.
When you phrase it like that, Doug, though, you sent some pictures of some tests. Did you have to masturbate? It makes it sound like Jarryd took a selfie of his, like, just jizzing into a cup.
Yeah, he sent his, like, it was like because I don't know if you know this, Jarrod's actually really good at drawing. He sent, like, a flip book of, like, an animation of how it works, which is absolutely just, totally edifying me. I thought it was really, really cool.
Yeah.
But I know from other folks I've heard that have gotten this procedure, like, afterwards, they were told, all right, we need you to basically masturbate 30 times and then come back to us, and then we're going to test to see what's going in there. But essentially, you got to, like, cycle through everything to make sure that everything's on the up and up. Is that something that you're also going to have to go through?
Yeah, so there wasn't technically a before test because like they just, I guess, don't see the point in going through the labs for that. But I did an at-home test, which looks like a COVID test. It's got that little fucking cartridge, has control and test on it. But that wasn't very helpful because it only has if you're low or high.
Mm-hmm. So you haven't had to do that like
it was low, which
like
was
at
disappointing.
like
because I was-
the doctor's office or anything. You didn't have to go in and unload in a
not
cup
yet.
and hand it to somebody.
No, in 3 months' time, I have to do that. So
Are you looking forward to that? And why?
It's going to be interesting. I am not looking forward to it. It's so weird to try and have to come into a cup, like
Sure.
super weird. So that's probably the most daunting thing of it. Masturbating in a little room, terrifying.
Well, I've done that. As Jill and I were attempting to have our second child, we tried for a long time, and then we had to basically start initial like fertility consultations, and part of that was getting the old sperm sample. And I gotta tell you, it's one of the weirdest things in the world. Just basically scheduling a time to come in and masturbate into a cup when everyone knows what you're doing, why you're there, is the weirdest experience. If, I'm sure I wouldn't be the first person to do like a comedy bit about this, but after doing that, I really wanted to do like a quick stand-up bit, like for 5 minutes or something, because I'm like, this is such a weird experience, because you go into a waiting room and I'm just like looking around, and it's, fertility clinic. I see like a couple there. There's a random dude there. And I just sort of like look like, are we all here to do the same thing? Like, are we all here to take care of this? And then a guy walks in with a brown paper bag. He's like, here we go. I'm making a drop off. And the person was like, whoa. Like, how recently did you do this? Because there's like protocol. You got to keep it warm because otherwise the sperm dies. And so he's like, nope, I got it. Like, he just like was so proud. Like, I did it. Just like dropped it off at the front desk. I was like, whoa, you could just, what's worse? Doing that on your own and then transporting it, to the proper place, or doing what I did, which was then making it an appointment to then be like, hi, I'm checking in to go to that room
Right.
and masturbate. And they're like, we know. You don't have to say that to everyone, sir. Like, we know why you're here. And then it's just it's the weirdest thing. I mean, they were so professional and stuff. They're like, all right, here's the room.
It's very clinical, but it's still
but at the same
it doesn't
time,
negate it being a weird experience.
At the same time, it's very clinical. They tell you what to do. Here's the cup. When you're done, yada yada, and you go in, and it's like it's a room with dimmed lights. There's a chair. There's a bunch of old school porn mags just in a rack. There's there's like a computer you can use to look up porn, like, and everything like that. And I was like, I got my phone. I'm good. Like, I don't need to do that. So you're just sitting in there and looking around, you're like, all right, I guess I got to do this. And they tell you have to, wait 3 to 5 days. You can't, so you can't. So you should be good to go at that point.
Yeah.
But then I'm just sitting there and you're like, okay, I got to get it in this little cup. I hope I don't spill it. And then, you're comfortable, you're cozy, but then you got to get up and get in a weird angle to be like, all right, I got to get this in the cup. And then when you're done, you come out and you're like, who gets to hold on to this? You're like, look what I did. And the whole time, like, after I was done, I was like, okay, make sure that I'm not sweaty. Make sure that I'm not painting. Because I'd be like, here you go. Look what I did. And hand them the cup and be like, yeah. And then they're like, cool, sign off that you did this. It's like, yeah. Signing off that's mine.
Impressed? Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, all right, see you later. I'm like, okay. And it's just the weirdest experience. So I can't wait to hear about how it goes for you, Jarryd.
Yeah, I'll just have to come on the podcast again and tell you about my experience delivering my cup.
Yeah. It's a real treat, let me tell you. You'll be fun. You also tell us like what video you watched, and just like you did with ask people for suggestions on what you should watch for that visit.
A whole bunch of links
watch
sent
the
around in the
Edward
Discord.
Scissorhands porn parody, Edward Penis Hands.
There you go.
There it is. Yes. Keep it consistent. You've got a theme through this whole journey.
Yes. So you heard it here, folks. Let's submit some things that you think Jarryd should watch. And Jarryd, you have to watch it, okay? These are the suggestions. It should only take you 20 minutes. It'll be real easy, just like before. So, it doesn't have to be anything too long, all right?
And if you do bring in your own sample, like that one guy did, make sure it's in like a Yeti cup or something that's like thermally insulated, and then make sure you ask for it back because those aren't cheap.
Yeah, right?
just imagining the brown paper bag just dripping.
Like, sir, is there a cup in here? He's like, no.
Why waste
it's
a
right
cup?
there. I mean, I had a Dixie cup, but I figured, what's the point, you know?
Right. My Tupperware had some spaghetti in it, so I just did the bag.
I mean, that's just wasteful. I'm not wasting my lunch, you know?
It's good spaghetti.
Oh, I fucking love this episode. This might be my favorite episode ever.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Yeah.
so good.
It's fun coming
So
up
how?
with
So as a follow up, then, so how are you feeling now? You said you're sore. What's the current status of how Jarryd? How's her baby boy doing?
I think I'm okay at the moment because the painkillers kicked in and I've
Nice.
just iced. But yeah, basically every hour I have to sit on a ice pack for 20 minutes.
That makes sense. Keep the
Make
swelling
sure it
down.
doesn't bruise. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I made the mistake. So the day after, I was like, no, this will be fine. I woke up, I felt fine. I took some ibuprofen and some paracetamol, and I was like, I've got this. This is fine. And then there was a meeting about 11 o'clock for an hour, and I just had to sit there, and that was uncomfortable. Like it started to kick in with pain, and I was like, wish I was at home watching this via Zoom. But yeah, thankfully at work I've got a sit-stand desk, so I was able to move and be comfortable. But yeah, by the end of the day, I was done.
Yeah.
I was sore. But yeah, it's not overly uncomfortable. It just feels like after you've been kicked in the balls, where you've got that kind of feeling in your stomach and a bit of tenderness to your junk.
Every single guy listening
It's
right
kind of
now
that way.
understands exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
very well-known feeling. Yeah.
And then at one point, because people at work know, at least most of them did.
Yeah.
One of the guys at work was like, "Hey, at lunchtime we should just go for a jog," and then it was like, "Oh, we should play that game Rochambeau," which apparently is from South Park, where you
Yeah.
just kick each other in the nuts as hard as you can.
Yep.
I almost fell over just thinking about the idea of being at it. More so than normal when you think about getting kicked in the nuts.
Yeah.
It's like
So
my
let's-
balls are like, oh, I know that pain. It's right now.
It's like all the time.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Are you nervous first of all, have you masturbated since the procedure?
No, you have to wait a week.
Okay. Well, that just sounds
Right.
like stupid, but whatever, to each
It's
their
gonna be
own.
awful.
Yeah. So are you nervous for that first time?
Yeah, look, I'll be honest. It feels like it's going to be quick.
not
I think we
necessarily
can
a bad
all relate
thing.
to that one.
Yeah.
But no, in a week's time, it should be the pain should be gone and it should be done with the swelling. So
Yeah. I would just have this fear that blood's just going to come out or something. It's just going to be like a horror film. Just be like, ah, but I'm sure that won't happen.
well, I didn't think about that until now, Doug. Thanks.
Nah, you're fine.
Nah, you'll be good.
Yeah, don't worry. Don't even think about it.
Yeah.
Thanks for putting that in my head. No.
Yeah.
Definitely don't think about
It should be
Doug
fine.
coming blood while you're jerking off, Jarryd.
Yeah, right? Just, don't do that. Because that,
Yeah.
I mean, unless it helps, because I'm here to help. in
If
every
you
way,
think
shape, or
about
form.
that, you might,
I'm showing some signs of being fucking wet.
Yeah. I love it.
yeah. Well, buddy, I'm legitimately we make our jokes and we kid around, but I'm happy that something that you've been wanting for a while, you finally got to see through, and that you're in a place that everything worked out. You're healthy. You're in a place where you're happy. It makes me happy. I'm happy for you, buddy.
Likewise, man. I'm glad that you made it through safe, and this is something that I want to do. At some point, I'm nervous. It scares me, the idea of just doing anything, to my scrotum and testicles. It just sounds terrifying. But at the same time, I'm also with you in that after the Roe v. Wade stuff, and I was just like, Jill, don't worry. Like, I'll take the bullet on this one. Like, this is, I'll help in that regard. It's the least I could do. As far as, what potentially could come down the road. I'm like, it's not as apparently as, like I said, not as crazy for guys to get this done. And I'm like, I feel like I should be the one that shoulders that burden. It's the least I could do. So I'm with you, man. I think it fits in with what you wanted to do, and I'm glad you were able to do it.
Yeah, I was able to do it and get it done. But yeah, I love making the jokes about it and talking about it because, someone else is going to listen to this and be like, oh, yeah, I should just go do it. Like, it's simple. You get to go in, watch a movie, done. I make jokes about the pain I'm in now, but it's really, fine.
Yeah.
It was just, I went into work like an idiot when I should have rested. That would be my advice, is fucking take, because, yeah.
It sounds to me like, if you haven't worked out for a while and you lift and, you do some work and the next day you're like, okay, it's not too bad. But for me, it's always the second day where it really kicks in. You're like, what have I done? Oh, that's kind of
exactly right.
Yeah. Cause, the other day, what was I doing? Oh, it was for Natalie's first day of school. I wanted to make sure that I had enough time to get back because I get up 30 minutes earlier now. I get up at 4:30 in the morning.
Oh, Dougie.
Yeah. I wonder why I've been so tired lately. It's probably what it is. I get up at 4:30 so I can make sure I have time to walk the dog, and then I go to the gym. But that day, for whatever reason, Loki was super exhausted and did not want to walk. I'm like, all right, I'm going to try and go as quick as I can. So, I jogged for most of my walking route. And I haven't run in a while. And my calves the next day were like, what have you done, my friend?
Right.
And then the day after that, they're like, what have you done, sir? I'm like, God, that's really sore. It's like, you haven't used us like that in forever. How dare you? And it just was really extra ouchy. So, I can imagine it's probably the same thing. I know that with surgeries. I remember getting that with braces. I got braces on. And as soon as I got them on, I'm like, this isn't bad. And then an hour later, I'm like, I'm going to eat something. And I tried to take a bite of a hamburger, and I was like, I remember taking a bite and being like, oh my God, it hurts so bad. My
this
teeth.
Is pure agony.
I was like, it was so bad. It was brutal.
Yeah.
And I don't think I finished the burger. And that's saying something for me. I'm a monster. So, yeah, man. Yeah. So, Jarryd, are you a Game of Thrones guy? You a fan of Game of Thrones?
No, I never really got into it. I watched a fair chunk of season 1.
Nice.
And a fair chunk of second last season. When I lived with a housemate that had it, we were watching it.
Wait, so you saw a fair bit of the first season and a fair bit of the last season?
Yeah. So
I guess that averages out.
And Jared's like, I get the idea.
Right?
Yeah. There's some dragons and some political medieval bullshit and some titties.
Yeah.
You know what?
Titties.
That's honestly not a bad summary of the show.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest.
Yeah, I'll always recommend the first 6 seasons.
The new one is tempting me.
The first 6 seasons are solid. After that, dog shit, in my opinion. So when they announced that they were doing, I didn't realize that there's 7 spin-offs that HBO has in the works for this, and this is just one of them. But the House of
how
the
many
Dragon
will come to fruition is anyone's fucking guess at this point.
Well, especially House of the Dragon, the prequel, heavily focused on the Targaryens. Had apparently, as according to this article from the Hollywood Reporter, had a premiere ratings blowout, which makes it seem like they shit themselves.
Yep.
But apparently they got 10 million viewers overnight. for their opening night of the episode, and I could not care less about.
Well, it
show.
has now climbed to 20 million.
Wow.
Across linear, on-demand, and HBO Max so across the 3 platforms, straight TV, and then the streaming services, which is those kind of numbers are reserved for like those are huge numbers. That does not happen anymore.
Yeah, it's very.
So
unusual.
that is a very a lot. The industry kind of set up and took notice to that because that doesn't necessarily happen a lot.
Yeah, and I'm surprised. I shouldn't be that surprised, but this Game of Thrones seems like it's just on the cusp of being irrelevant. You know, like season 8 happened several years ago. I mean, God, that was 2 jobs ago for me when that came out. So that was.
I mean, we did a podcast on it, so it happened within the time that we've done a podcast.
I've lived alone for 3 years.
Yeah, so that must have been like 2019, I think, maybe. Which honestly
I
is
think about the time I came to visit you guys.
Yeah, so that's 3 years. I guess that's not too long. Come to when you put it that way, but it feels like it's been a long time, and that was such a disappointment to me that when they're like, "Guess what? We're doing Doug's favorite thing, a prequel."
Sorry, it was May 19, 2019.
Yeah, so 2019. It's like we're doing Doug's favorite thing, the prequel. I was like, "Oh, good." Good.
Here, I'll say this: because I watched it and I liked it. I did enjoy it. I was waiting for that. Cool was a typical Doug's cool. No one gives a shit.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to be better about that.
Usually something else that comes after that. So I was waiting. I think what they did, because that was my first thought, was I was like, this is what Doug always talks about. Like, let's see if they shoot themselves in the foot with the prequel. But they went back 200 years before the events of the original Game of Thrones. I feel like that is one way to kind of circumvent, because by the time Game of Thrones comes on, everyone's dead regardless, right? So the stakes are high again because you don't like. None of the people in this one are going to see their way through to the original series. You know what I mean?
Yes. I guess. Yeah, you're right. It's because it's not so connected. You know, it doesn't ruin it too much. You still know they'll be dead. You don't necessarily know how or anything like that. So
is it old age? Is it?
Yeah. Is it murder? Yeah. Is it intrigue? Is it dragons? Who knows? Is it the White Walkers? I don't know. So yeah, I guess to a certain extent, but I mean, I guess it also to me would have to depend on, if they're like, this is the fight for the Iron Throne. I'm like, that's not going to matter,
Right.
Not going to matter at some point. Is this how the Iron Throne is forged with the fire of the dragons? It's like, I mean, I don't know. Does that matter? I don't know. It's just to some extent, like, again, I'm not here to shit on it. I haven't watched it. I don't really plan on watching it unless
that's fair.
It gets rave reviews, and I'll probably watch it when the season's over so I can watch it all at once. I also know this, like, this cost HBO a lot of money and a lot of time. I think this article was saying, God, how long did it take? It said the first season required 10 months of filming and a massive amount of post-production visual effects work, which began in January, is still ongoing. So it'll be difficult for the production to film and VFX another season by the end of 2023. So they're like, don't expect this before 2024.
Right.
So if it's good.
But the fact that they fucking, after one episode, they greenlit, like, here's what's dangerous, I feel like, about that is a lot of people may have buzzed about the first episode. If that episode was dog shit or viewership declines steeply by episode 3 or 4, you've greenlit a second season with very little data points. Mm-hmm. It just seems very irresponsible to. Yeah. Jarryd, is this something that would get you to watch Game of Thrones based off of how popular the first episode was?
No. You can't just be like, oh, everyone tuned into the first episode. So like clearly it's just people watching the trailer and being like, the trailer was good, so I'm going to watch the episode. Like you need. Okay, so when BoJack Horseman came out, right? The critics only got like the first 4 episodes, and then they were like, "This show's dog shit." And then obviously once everyone went and watched the full season, they were like, "Oh no, this show's actually deep and amazing. You can't get enough from 4 episodes in."
Right.
Same as Schitt's Creek. That took a whole season. It was designed to slow down. You can't, from 1 episode, say this show's good or this show's bad. You need, like you said, more data. Like, I never go off someone being like, "Oh yeah, like the pilot's amazing." I'm like, yeah, well, the pilot's not always the same as the rest of the show. So it kind of, maybe let's give it 8 seasons and then I'll figure out whether I want to watch this show or if it turns out that I'm watching the whole thing.
All right.
All right, chill your tits.
Like, we don't need
Nothing.
8 seasons. All right? Take it easy there, pal. But I'm with you on that. Like, I'd say, what is its designed runtime? Is it 1 season? Cool. Let's watch the season and see, how that works. Will that be, did this work in what they were expecting to tell the story in? Like Sandman, for example.
Right.
It was a whole season. It was 10 episodes, 11 episodes actually. But their main story was covered in 10 episodes. I feel like it should be judged on those 10 episodes, not just the first one. So
Right.
I think it's fair with that regard because, especially if you're trying to tell a whole story, I think it makes sense to, just see how the story was intended.
Yeah.
Like what do we get out of it in that regard? So I think you're right. If it's just, wow, the first episode was pretty cool. It's like, well, you got 9 more episodes, motherfucker. Like,
Right.
Show me
The first 6 seasons of Game of Thrones is really cool.
Yeah.
And
Right.
then ... So, I mean, it's, you need a whole season you got to see what the character arcs are. You got to see what where the story goes, and if the creators shit the bed right at the end.
Because I think part of this too is like there is, for me, the flame went out on Game of Thrones after that last season. I'm like, I'm good. Like, just bye. I don't need any more of this. I don't care what bullshit you guys have cooked up. I'm done with that universe.
Yeah.
I'm over it. So I think there's obviously still some excitement for it because people really enjoyed that stuff. So, and I think you make a good point too, Justin. Probably smart to do the setting 200 years before, so that you have more room to play and explore and things like that.
Right.
And you can still capture, hopefully, the essence of what really worked in the original, series, and still do your own stuff and make people happy at the end of the day, and not, have to wait on someone to never finish the actual book that this is based on.
Right.
So, ta-da.
In fairness, I would also like to, in case there's any super fans out there who are going to go back and retroactively, call out my shit, I would like to walk back my defense of season 7 and 8. Previously, I tried to defend it on the last episode.
Did you?
I believe I did. I believe I took the stance of it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
And it wasn't good.
Yeah.
I got to walk that back. I was trying to be very diplomatic and let's just call it what it is. Not good.
It was still fresh, like you.
Yeah.
I've been there. I've watched movies and been like, that was a good movie. And deep down, I'm like, it wasn't. It wasn't. Like, it wasn't good. And I don't know. It was rushed. At the end of the day, that's my big issue with it. It was a show
Absolutely.
that normally had 13 episodes per season, and they're like, we're going to do 2 seasons. One's going to be 7 episodes, and one's going to be 6. I'm like, so it's 1 season.
Right.
It's not 2. But they crammed 2 seasons worth of content into 1, and it was a mess. And it got to the point where you watch these characters who previously you've seen them do really smart and tactical things, do really stupid things, and stupid things would happen to them, and people all of a sudden are just like, I'm going to teleport behind someone and kill them, and we're going to fast travel because that's the best thing. And it's just everything lost its effect. And the thing that you can enjoy most about that show is that it's not a fairy tale. Just because someone's the good person doesn't mean that they're going to be okay. And I
Right.
suppose it lived up to that with the ending, but the ending felt like it was such a waste of time that nothing was really accomplished, in my opinion.
Yeah.
There was to some degree, but you have some storylines that just didn't play out to anything. You're like, oh, cool. I thought that was going to mean something, and it didn't. It fell so flat in so many ways, and I think people were desperate to want it to be good. I was, but at the same time, I'm like, this is some bullshit, man.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
bullshit.
Jarryd, is there a show that exists that you would clamor for a sequel for? Or sorry, a prequel that you're like, I want to see a prequel of this show.
Ooh.
It's a good question.
Trying to think what I'm. There is actually a show that I enjoy, and it has a prequel, and I haven't gone back and watched it yet because I can't find it over here.
Okay.
It's a New Zealand show, so the original show was Outrageous Fortune.
As Doug and I
You guys
both
would know
typed this.
one of them is Andy Starr, who plays Homelander now.
Oh.
So it's a show about a family of criminals, and they, after the dad's arrested, they decide, like the mum's like, no, that's it, we're not doing crimes anymore. And it's really good. It's a really good family piece. And it's, like you said, it's not a fairy tale. Like, shit goes bad. And then they did a prequel series to it, which is set with the grandparents of the I think it's the parents of the dad and their criminal exploits, because the grandfather was like an expert safecracker. And that ended up, I think the prequel series ended up with as many seasons as the original.
Interesting. Okay.
I would 100% recommend that show. It's so good, and it holds up like years and years later. Like I think it's
Interesting.
It ran from
about
05 to
15 years old. It
2010.
was made about 5 years ago, I think.
Yeah, the original ran from
Yeah.
05 to 2010, it says.
Interesting.
Yeah, 100%. If you can get your hands on Outrageous Fortune,
Okay.
I really recommend it.
Very cool.
Like, worst case, you're laughing at their funny New Zealand accents.
I
But
would never do that.
Anthony Starr, so Homelander, also from Banshee, which is another great show he does, or did.
Interesting.
And one of them is a lawyer, who's obviously a little bit on the dodgy side. And then the other is his twin brother, who was trapped in a freezer for several hours as a kid. So he has a bit of not development issues, but he's not as smart as his brother, and so he gets himself into dumb situations. He's dick first rather than brain first.
Nice.
I relate to that character.
Yeah, honestly, I got it on DVD, rewatch it all the time, and yeah, the prequel to that I really want to watch. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But, yeah.
That's really cool. Justin, is there a prequel you'd want to see to anything?
Not that I can come up with. I know I asked the question, but I don't have a good answer to it. Maybe a single episode of no, not even that. No. I can't come up with one that I think would be a legitimately good prequel series. I'm sure if I sat on it for longer, but I don't have one in the moment that would be a legitimately good, because I think anything. You and I took an entire episode, I think, one time and tried to come up with, is there a prequel out there that doesn't fall into the prequel traps? And I don't think we were able to come up with one. And so
handful. There's a handful that do, like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Was one.
Yeah.
But that one's like, people tend to forget that's even a prequel. It's so just like episodic with each movie.
Yeah.
And then I think The Godfather Part 2 is kind of technically a prequel.
It jumps. Yeah.
It has some flashbacks to some things like that. So there are some things that I think could potentially work. For me, actually, I bought the prequel comic for Sandman, but I actually
Oh, you
haven't
did?
read. I bought a digital comic, which, by the way, I realize it's probably not my jam, buying digital stuff, because I started reading it and then I forgot about it, and I have it saved somewhere, but I haven't finished it. But the whole point of that comic was to answer the question of how did Sandman get so weak that he was able to be captured in that very first book. Like, what was he doing? Because that's something I would like. Yeah, give me more prequel stuff on the Endless. Like, there's tons of stories that would be really cool to examine, to see. You know, where not
been
just
around for millennia. So
exactly right. Ever since
back.
the humans existed, they've been there. It'd be nice to see what happened when, you know, with Delight, and, you know, what happened with Destruction and all that sort of stuff. Like, you hear about those stories. So to a certain extent, it would probably potentially fall in the same trap as the prequel, like, thing that we run into, where, like, we know what's going to happen. But at the same time, I'm like, you hear about that, but wouldn't it be interesting to see what led up to Destruction doing what they do and what happened with Delight? Like, that would have been really interesting to me to see that unfold. So again, I wouldn't need a ton, because really the true story is the story that's being told. But I wouldn't mind a mini series, you know, that covered that. I think that'd be kind of cool. I'd be down to see that.
I dig that.
Oh, dig it.
I could fucking dig it.
Fucking dig it, bruv.
You know what else I can dig?
What's that?
Welcome to the throwdown.
Jarryd, are you ready? Are you ready, Jarryd?
So excited. What
I love it. I
did
love
the
it.
council choose while I was?
Well, the council didn't choose this one. The council helped out with 50% of this, but I came up with this one, Jarryd. And this one's specifically for you. Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. This week's throwdown is Blue from Blue's Clues versus Bluey. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Is that Abby?
Yep, she's weighing in.
Is Blue?
Abby's a blue healer too, so that's actually pretty funny. So there we go.
She's a Bluey.
She's casting her vote for Bluey.
Yes. I'll be honest, like, I don't know much about Blue from Blue's Clues. I know it's a cartoon dog that leaves clues. She's a female puppy who communicates to her owners through barking on the syllables and stresses of the sentences she means. They can partially understand her expression and tone. And every episode, she initiates a game of Blue's Clues in which she leaves 3 paw prints for the host and the viewer to find the answer to a question. In Blue's room, she can speak English. You know, the real language. You know what I mean? And she's energetic and playful. She's very smart and friendly. She get angry or sad. She's very different from other puppies. She also likes to read, draw pictures, or listen to music. And she's described to be the smartest of all puppies.
Okay, so Blue is a puppy.
Ooh, yeah.
Wait, where was I know I have it.
Also, nice. Wow. And according to Blue Goes the Doctor, Blue is 20 pounds and 2 feet.
Blue only has 2 feet? Oh, well, she's fucked. Louie's got all 4.
No, she's 2 feet tall.
What is that in real measurements?
It's like 300 kilometers or something.
300 kilometers.
You know what's funny? Okay, so it's funny that everyone always assumes that Blue and Bluey are boy dogs because they're blue.
I thought Bluey was a boy dog too, and when I watched the episode, I'm like, oh shit, it's a girl. It's a girl dog. You know?
Yeah, Bluey's a girl, and so is Blue from Blue's Clues.
Yeah.
Which people are so surprised by.
Right?
I remember when they did the reboot recently, there was a whole bunch of shit online. They're like, they made Blue a girl, this woke bullshit. And it's like, Blue's always been a girl.
That's right. You piece of shit. So, now Bluey, on the other hand, is also a puppy, right? Well, Bluey's a 6-year-old blue heeler pup. Well, I mean, if we're talking about dog years, I mean, Bluey's dumb as hell if that's the case. I mean, she should be
I
like.
think she's 6 in dog years.
Okay,
So
that's
she's like
better.
not even a year.
I was like, yeah, that's
That
crazy.
doesn't make sense because then how old's Bingo?
She's 7. You said.
Bluey is a 6-year-old blue heeler pup who loves to play.
Yeah, but as of past the parcel, she's 7.
What did you just say to me?
You
Who's
heard
passing
me.
what parcel? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever. She's a puppy. All right. She's not
Cool.
6 years old. So she.
Wait, a 6-year-old blue heeler pup. That's
It's not a thing.
contradictory.
I know. There's a lot going on there. She has the intelligence of a 6-year-old and she's a puppy. So let's just. If she were a 6-year-old pup, that's what she is. Like,
All right.
you know what
I'll
I mean?
accept it.
I agree with Jarryd. She's like 6 years old in puppy years. So she's a child, basically.
Doesn't make any sense. Fine.
Let's see here. So she's energetic, loves to play. She can be a bit too bossy when she plays games, as seen in the Magic Xylophone episode and some other episodes. And she can be easily distracted, as seen in the episode Hide and Seek. And she really likes to play with her friends.
What are her powers and abilities? I don't see that on here.
Well, she doesn't really have powers and abilities.
Is she in a class 9C?
She's the talking dog. So who lives in a world of dogs that have jobs, drive cars, and they walk on 2 legs. So this is a universe.
Got it. She's a 7F.
So this is basically like Planet of the Apes, but with dogs.
Right.
So they've
Those
got
talking
daycare.
bipedal dogs.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite parts of this show is there is a neighbor named Lucky, and there's a neighbor, like, young dog named Lucky, and they refer to Lucky's dad as Lucky's dad. Lucky's dad does not have a name. It's always
Love it.
like, we can go check out Lucky's dad's house or whatever. Like, they does not have a name, which is amazing.
As it should be.
Indeed. So anyway, these 2 dogs are in a fight to the motherfucking death. Jarryd, who's coming out alive?
I mean, I want to say Bluey because I'm like, well, Bluey's gonna fucking have a knife, but then Blue's probably gonna have a fucking gun because she's American.
Blue is going to have a gun. Bluey is going to have a knife.
Yeah,
Because Bluey is going to go, that's not a knife. That's a knife.
Yeah.
Shut that
and
conversation
then
down.
Blue's just gonna bark a lot because Blue's dumb and doesn't talk.
Yeah,
So
because
it's
Blue
fun.
is, as they say, super intelligent. So I would say Blue. But the thing is, they're both young, so they're prone to emotional outbursts. So the question is, who has, do you think, the most skills in fighting? I would argue that Bluey's from Australia. And listen, my understanding is that Australia is a rough environment, just in general, environment-wise, right? You got all sorts of danger at your doorstep, so your senses are going to be heightened. You're going to have to protect yourselves from all sorts of predators, and it's a tough, it can be, there's a lot of desert over depending on where you go, like there's a lot that you have to sort of learn to do just from existing there, whereas with Blue, where's Blue? Where do they grow up, Like it's
Yeah.
San Francisco.
San Francisco.
Blue's friends with like a salt and pepper shaker, like whereas Bluey has like rough play with her friends in the park and stuff, and runs around and does things. Blue, I don't think has ever left their home. They go into like their paintings and pretend to like go do things.
So she's crazy.
So you're
is what
saying she's
Very
disconnected?
sheltered.
Yeah, she's disconnected from reality, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Whereas
Interesting.
Bluey, chases bin chickens and plays games with their friends. I
Did you
think like the physical advantage there because of actually like being outside.
Say bin chickens? B-I-N?
bin.
Bin chickens?
Bin chickens. Have you not watched that episode?
No, I've not seen that episode.
And there's birds, the ibises, over here, and we call them bin chickens because they're always in the bins, in the garbage.
Okay.
Same as why we call
Just watching Justin just process that was the best.
Is it like a bin chook?
That's what I was waiting for, the bin chook.
Yeah.
It could be a bin chook, but you say bin chicken, it just sounds more fun.
So let me just make sure I understand. You guys call chickens chooks, but you call these, what are they? Edot? What are they? They're bin chickens. So you use the word chicken to describe something that's not a chicken, and you use the word chook to describe a chicken. Sorry, yeah. Is it? So who wins, Jarryd?
I think with Blue being so disconnected from reality, they'll have a hard time understanding what's going on. And while Bluey, I think, will be playful, I think Bluey has the physical prowess to eliminate. Even though Blue is the most intelligent dog, I don't think they'll be able to understand what's happening. And I think Bluey, also being an Australian healer, like those dogs have instincts. You know, there's a lot going on with them where they just kind of get into shape. Not only that, we see Bluey doing like obstacle courses with her dad and things like that. She has the athletic prowess, and I think she goes for the throat on this one.
Yeah, I think Bluey's got it because not only all the physical stuff, but she's also proportionate, whereas Blue has a tiny little body that Bluey could just stomp on.
Yeah.
And
Now we're talking.
kick her in the massive head, which is a massive target.
It's true. It's very true.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's just
and
too
also,
much there to just, yeah.
Also, Bluey's just the shit. So, yeah.
I think we're calling it.
Bluey for the win!
Nice. We got to a decision. Thank you, Jarryd, for playing along with that. All right. Now it is time of the show where we move on to recommendations. Jarryd, you've already recommended that weird New Zealand show. Do you have anything else you'd like to recommend?
I mean, yeah, I'm just going to plug more Anthony Starr. Are you sure?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Also watch Banshee. I'm going to be watching that now. And I want to throw a shout out to Sweet So Geek in Fort Wayne, Indiana. They're closing down the end of October, I think. So if you can go there, you should go there before they close. They're also selling a bunch of their nerdy merchandise. So I know people in the Discord community and the Mind Gap community fucking love that stuff. So yeah, it'll be worth the trip. It's really nice, really good.
All right.
Food.
It's saying a lot to make a trip over to Indiana. That's no joke. So I respect it.
Give us the name of the store one more time.
Sweet So Geek.
Sweet
Right.
So Geek.
Yeah.
Jarryd posted about it in the old Discord.
Another reason that you should be in the Discord,
That's right.
because you're going to get hot tips for what stores are closing down, and you're going to go get deals at those stores. You're
Hot
welcome.
tips. Justin, what do you got to recommend for this week?
I am a late adopter to this show, but I was fucking floored. Absolutely loved it. It's on Hulu or FX. It's called The Bear. It is about a Chicago. It's a fine dining restaurateur, a fine dining chef, and his brother commits suicide. He comes back to Chicago to run the beef stand, the Italian beef restaurant that his brother has in River North, and it's a very it accurately portrays the madness that happens in a kitchen. It is some of the most stressful television I have watched in a long time, and it is endlessly enjoyable. Like I was pleased to be stressed out by these episodes. So there's a cameo or two that I think some people will really dig, and it has been renewed for a second season, and it's a good fucking show. I'll say this: episode 7 was shot in a oneer. It's a 20-minute episode, and they shot it in one take. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I tried to do some reading on it. I think they truly did it. I don't think they masked cuts as they went by walls and stuff. As I understand it, they had they ran through it in their soundstage setup like 4, 5, 6 times, like a play, and then they went through it. So that
Wow.
episode was pure chaos, and it was exacerbated because it was done as a oneer. And then in episode 8, the finale, the lead actor who killed it this season. He's got like a 7-minute monologue, and it is beautiful and heartbreaking. And just watching someone do their craft like that, not an easy. I can imagine him getting the script and sifting through the pages and like, fuck. All right, here we go. Got to dig in.
This is what we play for.
This is what we play for. Strongly, strongly recommend The Bear on Hulu, or if you have Hulu, or FX if you've got FX on demand. So, Doug, what do you got?
Very cool. I'm going to recommend an album by the band Census Fail. It's a band I've followed since, 2003, 2004. The lead singer, Buddy Nielsen, actually got to meet him after a show in Chicago when I was in college. I followed them for years. They just recently released an album called Hell Is In Your Head. And this one speaks particularly to me because the lead singer, Buddy, just recently had a daughter. And he tells a lot of his songs are about being a father. And one in particular, one of my favorite episodes, or favorite songs is, God damn it, I'm going to forget it. Stand by, I'm going to get it. It was a single they released before the album came out, and it is called I'm Sorry I'm Leaving. And essentially it's him telling a story about, how much it sucks that he has to leave to go do his art. But he's trying more or less to be a good person so that, she doesn't have to deal with the bullshit that he brings to the table. He even has a line where he's like, I'm even seeing a new therapist. Like he's basically doing everything he can to be there for his kid. And there's also a song called Lush Limbaugh that they released this the day that Rush Limbaugh died. And essentially it is a scathing song about how much Buddy hates Rush Limbaugh and how he's a piece of shit. And I remember when they released that the day he died, I was like, oh shit.
Shots fired.
This is no joke. It's pretty brutal. But they're a great band. I really like them. Again, the album's called Hell Is In Your Head. It's out now. It's on Spotify. It's all that sort of stuff. I recommend I'm Sorry I'm Leaving as a track, Lush Limbaugh, and End of the World is a good one too. So the whole album's great though. I highly recommend it. So you can check that out.
Nice.
Also, don't forget to check out MindGap on all social medias at MindGap Podcast. Check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/MindGap Podcast. And while you're here, hit the like button, subscribe to us, get notified whenever we release our stuff. Don't forget to check out our live streams on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Central normally, or we have special ones like today. And also the video game live stream that I host every Saturday at 8 p.m. Central. It's always a good time. Jarryd, do you have anything, if you'd like anyone to follow you anywhere or anything like that?
Yeah, basically on all social media, I'm at the Urbas, THEJUR.
Very cool. I like it.
BAS. Under that, then I'm not on there.
Nice. And Justin also exists digitally as well.
That's true on Instagram and Twitter at Justin_Michael, spelled Mikel. It's the fun way of spelling it. And like Doug said, while you're in the online realm, check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iTunes, Stitcher. Gosh. Not iTunes. That doesn't exist anymore. Apple Podcast. That's still a thing. Podbean. No, Good Pod. What's the one you like?
Good Pod.
That's the one. Yeah. Go there because that's a cool place. Also Spotify. I said that. The places. Find us online.
We're
subscribe,
everywhere.
Review, rate, all the things. And the big one that we love is when you share us around because sharing is caring. And then keep an eye on all of 2 East 8th's social medias and 2east8th.com.
Hell yeah. Well, Jarryd, I want to say thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you so much for sharing your vasectomy story and being honest and being silly with us. And I appreciate you, allowing us just to have some fun here. But, I think it's great. You're sharing that story and being a little vulnerable and, chatting with us as always. It's great to have you here.
Thanks. I'm glad I was able to talk about it, and I'm glad that you guys were able to, open up the schedule to let me in on your Friday night and talk about it.
Jarryd, we will always open up ourselves to you. All right? Just like your trips to the dentist, you'll make sure everything's good and clean, baby. Good and clean.
I've put my dick in worse.
All right. And on that note, I want to say, Justin, thank you.
Douglas, thank you.
Chat, thank you.
Listeners, thank you.
And you all have a dandy fucking week. And that was the recording. We did good with the sound bites tonight, I think. I think that was a lot of fun.
It was fun.
I was tempted to do more, but I was like, let's not overdo it, Doug. Let's not overdo it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, we don't want to...
You guys definitely kept it.
We try to keep it kosher. So there's just always so much. Like, I haven't explored these soundboards too much, and then I'm like, ooh, what's that? Ooh, what's that? And I get distracted, and I'm like, hey, just keep it chill, Doug. Keep it cool. Oh, that was fun. Well, gang, thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight on your Friday night. I appreciate you. Don't forget to, check out tomorrow night. I'm doing my first live stream of Minecraft. It's this brand new game that just came out. And I'll be diving into Slotty's world. And we'll be seeing, they're going to be showing me the ropes. So come hang out. It'll be fun. I'm not good at the game. So they're going to be teaching me all sorts of stuff. And we'll see what happens. So until then, gang, thanks for hanging out with us. Jarryd, thanks again, my friend. And we'll see you all next time on the stream.